Well, hello all. Young Rob is not here, so I'm standing in for, well, we're all standing in for him, I think, but I'll introduce the others in a while. And you never guess what? This is coming to you live from the 18th century, or possibly the 19th century. That's where it's coming to you live from, because today is our 200th anniversary. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to
PSN.
200 years old today.
200 years. So
200 something.
We'll come back to that in a minute. But before we do all of that, yes, it's Friday, the 2nd of February, apparently, by all accounts. And here in the UK, it's dark outside, grim up north. And in the valleys, there'll be some singing. It's lovely. And we've got a lovely show for you today. Well, we probably haven't. There's no news. But don't worry, because we've got all sorts of things ready to talk about. And apparently, I ought to get the housekeeping out of the way first. What do you think, gents? Shall I? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Over that bloody floor.
Righty-ho, and here we go. So, like, comment, subscribe, and share. You know that liking helps our profile and boosts the rankings and all that stuff. And that all goes towards the lovely coffers we get filled by your subscriptions and sharing and liking and stuff. And do share it out. Tell other people about us. Get them to come and watch, even though today I'm on it. Normally it's quite good. But yes, like, comment, do the like. Press the like now. Press the like now. And do remember that you can donate on Patreon, because guess what? So we've stopped using PayPal. They have closed. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're going to, if you want to try and contribute via PayPal, we've no idea where it will go, but it's not going to come to us, and you'll have lost it. So instead, if you wouldn't mind. Come to the there we go, support us on Patreon thing, and that's there. You'll find us Pro Synth Network at patreon.com. You can get in for a couple of quid. It's only £2 at the moment. We are working on bringing a whole bunch of lovely content for you, so you can bump that up. We'll probably do £5 and then £16 billion, or possibly the odd Korg PS 3300, if you want to give us that instead. So there's that. And then we have, of course, we're going out on YouTube, which is where you're probably watching us from now. And we're out on Facebook, of course, and Twitch, and Insta, and Threads, and, of course, the eponymous X. So we're on all of these, but if you want to comment, if you want to participate in the chat, which we can see, then probably YouTube is the blessed place. Is the best. Hang on. The blessed place. To do that. So do that, and if you put a nice, great, big, fat Q, then we'll know you've got a question for us. It can be anything like, what do you recommend is this summer's best shoe for your wife? Or your husband? I don't know. For Andrew Brooks. Actually, to be fair,
colour.
That's Andrew Brooks's. That's more Andrew Brooks's, isn't
That's
it?
definitely me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And these are Kent's. What
What are you doing with my shoes?
Well, I've got... Hang on.
I want them barefoot.
I've got your handbag here as well, look. You can tell this is going to be a thin news week. So yeah, Q for your question, pop it in there. And our wonderful moderators. Andrew, who are our wonderful moderators this week? Do tell us. Andrew?
You took him out of the show. Hang on.
No, he's there. Tell us who the wonderful moderators are.
Well, I've been trying my best the last few weeks to get all the links and things in, but as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, talking to everybody, somebody else is going to have to pick up the slack there. I'll try to keep on top of it if I can.
Just tell us who the other moderators are. So is it Andy Synth?
Ben Musines and Andy Synth Addict, if they don't turn up and I've not seen them in the chat, then I will try my best, but I can't promise. I'm not very good at multitasking.
So we'll pretend we didn't reveal anyone then, and we'll come back here. There we
Yeah.
go. And lastly, we'll turn that off. And I'm going to introduce people now. You'll never guess who's in the show, right? You'll never guess. You'll never guess. So to start off with, let's introduce someone who's a familiar friend and face to the show, the ever popular, the ever green, the ever weird, Mr. Ken Spong. Go on, yay!
Weird, at least. Yes.
Yeah, weird.
Camera's on the move again. Hang on.
Weird. How are you, Kent? How's your week been?
I'm. Well, I made it. I'm in one piece, so good. Yes.
How's your
What's
library?
going-
Is your library in one piece?
No. No. And it'd be nice to have people to turn up for, any support calls. But apparently, Spitfire Audio are closed today. So, lucky I wasn't in the middle of doing a very important track. Important track. So I'll have to wait until next week to see if we can get something sorted out with that.
Do we know if this is something that's widespread? Because we have heard of one or two others, well, one particularly, who's having some issues with this. Is this something that's widespread, or is it just something that you've completely
There is
screwed up?
definitely issues with Contact 7 at the moment, with the new Mac OS. The what's it called?
Sonoma.
Sonoma. Yeah, there's
Sonoma.
issues with that at the moment that they are working on. Straight from the horse's mouth, in fact, who said to me on the phone this afternoon, yeah, there are a few problems, but we are getting it sorted out as soon as possible. Yeah.
Well, you're not the only one, so I mean, we'll come back to that in a minute, actually, because we've got so little to talk about, other than how absolutely gorgeous our next guest, our next co-presenter,
Sexy little beast that he is.
the one, the only.
It's been a long
Mr.
time
Andrew
since
Brooks.
anybody called me sexy. Thank you very much. I'm on cloud 9 now. That's very nice of you, Jones. Very nice indeed.
It's not often we have Frederick Descartes on the show, is it?
Well, I was thinking John Peel, Ghost of John Peel.
Frederick Descartes. Do you mean Frederick Nietzsche shagged René Descartes? Is that what's happened here?
Yeah, you're a mixture of the two.
A philosopher's beard? Is that what
Indeed, yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
if you
definitely
saw a
gonna
photograph of him, you go, "Good God, that's me."
It's definitely going to grow into two strands. I will definitely have boys.
Evil
yeah,
beard.
Oh, yes. Mong. Ming,
Yeah.
Mong. Ming, Mong. Ming, Mong.
Ming Mong.
Whoever he was, yeah.
Well, he was a
That
bit of a Mong, but yeah, Ming.
sexy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we're continuing with the proud tradition on this show of keeping things reasonable and not at all
do.
contentious. Ming Mong.
Ming Monging, Mongy Ming.
Whatever he was called from Flash Gordon, I don't give a
Flash.
That one.
The clues
Ming
in the
Mong.
title.
Yeah.
So how's your week been, young Andrew?
Oh, God. You know, shortly after the show last week. Yeah, you know what's coming. Shortly after the show last week, at 3 o'clock in the morning, my car alarm went off. So I looked out the window, couldn't see anything, just me at the lights of the car flashing. Looked out the window because I'm four stories up because I live in a flat, and no problem. So I ran down the stairs, had a look from a different angle. Didn't see anything. Thought it'll be just a spider crawling across the sensor. So I went back to bed, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning, my neighbour rang me up and said, "Andy, your car's been broken into." So the driver's side window had all been smashed in completely. They pulled off all the plastics from the steering column and pulled out the ignition and tried to hotwire it on a new-ish car. I mean, it's 22 registration, so it's a new car. It's got immobilizers, it's got everything. You know, it's got deadlocks on the door, so they couldn't open the door. You know, I think, how thick must this person have been? I mean, just absolutely. And the knock-on effects has been awful because because I've had to get to work, and I do work a distance away from where I live, you know, an hour's drive. So I had to ring a colleague and say, "Can I come stay with you?" So I stayed with a colleague for 2 nights. Thank you, Natalie, and your husband Andy. They were lovely and really accommodating and fantastic.
Not
food.
watching this show.
No, they won't be, but I'm saying it nonetheless. And then the insurance company finally managed to get me a courtesy car, which was an automatic, and I've never in my life driven an automatic. My journey home from work on Tuesday in this automatic car, not knowing how automatic cars work. God, you'd have pissed yourselves laughing. It's going, because I've worked it out now, and I'm finding it. But oh my God, it was just awful, that journey home.
Well, I think it's time to bring everyone in. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've asked Kent, and he said, and I've asked you, and
Yeah, disastrous week.
Ask me how my week's been.
How was your week, Andrew?
There we go. I think I may now be the Pope. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works, but
blessed.
Blessed. Bless you
Okay.
all. Bless you all. So here we are. We are on the ProSynth network, the minging, groaning, whining network of things, and we've got sort of not an awful lot to talk about, but we have got some stuff. So shall we start off with? Yeah, go.
What? I just said good
said-
night. You said we didn't have
night.
a lot to talk about. So
I thought you said,
good
can
night.
I? Can
I? Can I?
Can
Good
you hear
night. Bye.
Can you hear my cat?
Yeah, go on then. I'll allow you.
No, I'm not going to. He's a nightmare. So, I think we ought to get on with things. So,
Yeah, come on then.
the problem is everything we're going to look at is kind of going to be available, apart from one or two things, and we've got almost no video. But we'll give it a go, shall we?
Well,
So-
can I just point out that after Robbie's left the chat, we'll start running the show properly. Let's just scare the shit out of him now
Let's scare the shit out of him
while
now.
he's watching.
Shall we talk about Robbie?
Yes, lads.
Yeah, wait
much
until he's
better-
gone underground again.
How much more professional is this without Robbie on it? That's what I want to know.
yeah.
You know,
Slick,
eh?
Andy.
It's
Slick.
slick as weasel
Slick.
shit. It
That
really is.
Yeah.
So, last week we had the NAMM show, which was a big spreader event that everyone got sick from, as per normal. NAMthrax, the normal NAMthrax thing, and everyone came down. But it was we saw some lovely footage from the wonderful Andrew Synth, Mr. Synth Head thingy, and various others doing the rounds. I have to say there wasn't that much that was new and exciting, apart from, of course, the star of the show, which was the PS3300, which was finally visible and people were playing it. What did you make of that? Having finally seen it and perhaps been given a bit of a chance to see what it's about. Price, everything. Ken?
It's pretty much what I was expecting. Yeah, the price is actually quite good. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's technically, it's not. But like I said, I was going to show you some bits of what the inside of the real one is. I say real one, original one. Including why they dropped the cable, because literally you could tie up an oil tanker with the cable on a PS3300. But the shed's locked and we can't find the key because she's clearing the drawers out. Yeah, it's everything that was expected and more. They brought it up to date. They've given it MIDI. They've given it aftertouch.
Well, just to remind us, I'm just going to pop this up. Where are we? There we go. That's the beauty. And the cable you're talking about is the grey thing down at the bottom of the screen here.
Yeah, it's like
A
a
great
Centrix
big-
cable.
Yeah. And I remember those with great not fondness, but the thing was you could clean them with some isopropyl and a bit of a scrubbing brush, nail brush or whatever. But what they've done instead is they've got it connected digitally, haven't they?
Via MIDI. Using a MIDI cable,
Well,
isn't
is it via MIDI? I thought they had
I
a
think
whole
it's
bunch
via
of...
MIDI. I think it's via MIDI.
Okay, well, it might be. And it's got aftertouch. The keyboard's got aftertouch. And I believe it's velocity sensing as well. So, and they've got this bank over here on the right. They've got a bank of memory buttons, and the whole thing is under digital control, which means the whole package, and it is a very different synthesizer to what most people think. Unless you've played with one, you really don't quite get just how fundamentally mad it is. So under digital control, that means you can save patches, you can save the intonation down here. So if we, that's a nice F. Let's give that F. Let's go to 1 oscillator just for a moment. Here we go. Go to the F. So you can do the micro tuning here. So we'll just make that a little bit off, I think. So you can do micro tuning tables and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, it remembers all of that. So if you come up with a particular patch where you are using microtonal whatever, it remembers it. And that's stored as part of the patch, which is rather a lovely thing. So what, it seemed to be getting a really good reception. Do you think they're going to sell many?
Yeah, I think they probably will. But when I say many, I mean probably a few more than they did originally sell, which was about 50. They probably could do like 100 of these, but I think this is why they're going to do it as order only. So they're not going to build one until somebody orders one, or 2 or 3 people order one. So this is just literally a pet project, I think, for them.
There we go. So I'm just going to put that away again. So in addition to that, of course, in the aftermath of NAMM, there was a lot of people turning up on various stands. The Moog stand had lots of people on it. Poor Michelle, as we know, was ill. And on the ARP stand, they had everyone there, didn't they?
Almost.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really good show, isn't it? They had almost everyone there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Give me some examples then, Andrew.
Oh, bloody hell.
That's it.
Actually,
Anthony Marinelli was there.
Stevie Wonder.
Doing his thing. Stevie Wonder arrived, yeah, he did.
Patrick Moraz put in an appearance.
There was a bloke with a
missed
hat.
that one, so...
There was a bloke with a hat. Oh,
Did you not see him?
No. And they did a draw, didn't they, for the Korg mini sort of IRP 2600 modular thing. Did a free draw, which Korg very kindly donated. And, so that was a good stand.
Yeah.
There was lots of action on the Moog
Dean
stand.
has just said, Gordon Reid.
Gordon Reid, of course, Gordon Reid.
Yes.
Hi, Dina.
Nigel
nice
from
to see you
accounts.
here. Nigel from. I've got Derek from accounts living in the bottom of the pond from cost accounting. Derek from cost accounting.
Ah.
He lives at the bottom of the pond,
I
as
remember
well as
Derek.
Tim, the god of waterfalls. We've got him, and Brenda, the improbably damp. But that's a whole other thing.
Different reason.
Different reason, yeah,
Yeah.
because she's improbably damp. So any other highlights from it? Because, although apart from the flu and the lurgies that were going around, anything wonderful? Did we ever get that picture of Mike Metley being...
Oh, yes.
No,
With a mint going in his gob?
I think so. I don't think so.
Well, that's a
I
great
think-
shame.
Where
I
was
think we
his
settled
book
for
then,
beating him
wasn't
up
it?
in the car park.
I think it was a lost opportunity. I mean, the other thing which happened at NAMM was, of course, Korg did their let's release the whole thing, everything, and just swamp everyone else out of the market by releasing everything. What did you make of that?
I think it makes a load of sense. We've got
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Going to make
Here
an
it is.
impact.
Make your mind up.
Yeah.
And they had loads of good stuff. There's all the modules of their little keyboard things in modules. The new King Korg. Now that's interesting. That's because that was such a weird synth when it came out, and it should have been more successful than it was. I mean, the engine of the King Korg went into the little. Oh, have I got it here? The little Electribes. That's got more or less a King Korg engine in it, and it sounds fantastic. It just sounds great. So the fact that they've done that, I know it's not cheap, but why do synthesizers all have to be cheap all of a sudden? If it's worth it, pay for it if you can. And I know that's an issue for some people, but I mean, people have gone on and on about Korg pricing, but I think synths, and I know it's the Behringer. We'll come to that later, I suppose. I know it's the Behringer issue, but actually, these things cost money. They cost money to develop. They cost money to create. They're not cheap as chips. It may be that everything's running off a digital processor, but it's still the whole package. It costs, and I think, I mean, if you imagine what you would have had to pay for a synth like a King Korg in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're spoiled. We're spoiled right now.
Didn't someone we know, Kent, end up getting a Platinum SE Wave State?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And despite the cost, and we were quite derisory about the cost. Well,
yes,
I say we. I was quite derisory about the cost because I couldn't see, not it particularly, but the other ones which came out, I couldn't see what else you were getting that was worth double the price. I really couldn't. It wasn't worth double the price. That was my opinion. Nonetheless, it's selling. And you're right, the King Korg, the original one, I think I mentioned it last week, that the original one was probably best known for being played for that wonderful keyboard solo by Corey Henry in the Snark Puppy video, Lingus, which is just, if you haven't seen it, and if any of the admins can pop that up somewhere as a link, it's Snark Puppy, Lingus with Corey Henry playing the keyboard solo. It's just stunning. It's just stunning. And that was the King Korg, and it sounds amazing, and it feels like a real analog synth. Absolutely gorgeous thing. So, yeah, I get that. Ken, what was your feeling about it all? Because there was so much.
There was a lot, wasn't it? It was quite a smorgasbord of Korg stuff all over the place. Yeah, it seemed like a clever marketing ploy to dump everything just before NAMM like that.
I mean,
and across such a wide range of stuff by dumping the 33 in there as well. So, yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. Good marketing sense. So
it did seem to kind of obscure most everything else that was.
Yeah, I mean,
talked
admittedly, things like King Korg and those sort of things, I'd never really pulled into that station at all. I was just elsewhere. So, the announcements of these Mark IIs and stuff like that, and they're going to do the modules and stuff like that, was like met with basically, meh, because I was never into them anyway. So,
yeah.
But it's funny because when some people say about 10K is a lot of sync for a synth, or certain things are like £1,000, people are expecting them to be about 500 and stuff like that. But
yeah, Dina, go on.
Go on.
I was just going to say, Dina, the King Korg sound that was used by Brooksy, the King, he's gone. The King Korg sound. Let me just remove him for the moment. The King Korg sound that was used on the Snark Puppy thing, it was ARP all over it, wasn't it? It had that ARP Odyssey sound all over it, and I know he's used ARPs before.
Yeah.
So I hope he did come to the stand, and if not, you should definitely be speaking with him. You should get him to come and do some of your foundation stuff, some of your tutorials and such. He's an amazing man, and a really lovely guy as well. Really lovely guy. Was there anything else particularly that you remember from NAMM being launched or updated that really made a huge big splash? I'm not sure there was any room after Korg did what they did.
There was a lot of new things, wasn't there? Or were they new, or were they just Mark IIs, or slightly improved on from previously? I mean, Suit and Tie guy doing his modular, not a modular.
Yeah.
I think it's based. Is it a homage to the Oberheim 2 voice, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I mean, I got the impression there was an awful lot of stuff there that wasn't quite ready yet, and is coming soon. A lot. Hi, Mike. Mike? Who's Mike?
He's changed his
Who
name.
the hell's Mike? Hi, Andrew.
Sorry, glitch.
Okay.
What was that?
His name's Glitch, not Mike.
Was that a 200th birthday celebratory glitch?
Pointing, yeah, it was.
Good.
I was pointing at Mike, whoever Mike is.
Yeah, I think that's actually the
Dr.
trend, though,
Mettler.
isn't it? Of releasing things not finished. That's been going on for a long time.
Well, I'm not sure they were released. They were shown. There was lots of stuff shown. So, for instance, we know that. Let me just bring this up because this could be good. Let me get onto this actually because there's a bunch of stuff. So, let me bring this up here. Here we go. I'm just gonna whack this onto the. Let me stop sharing that and bring. Share screen. Dee. The actor's life for me. Add to stage. So there we go. There was an announcement about this. So Kurzweil, whose keyboards, by the way, I've always loved. I've always loved. They've got a great sound to them, but they seem to always be just one step behind everyone else, or one step ahead, depending on which way you look at it. They are releasing two new keyboards, which are essentially based on the 2700, the PC 2700, I think it is, which is a great keyboard, a bit of an upgrade from the PC 2600. And these two keyboards, they don't come with the drum pads, but have pretty much everything else. And as you can see, there's the 61-note version, synth keyboard version, and there's the 88-note, I would imagine, weighted version as well. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. The funny thing with this is, I mean, there's not an awful lot here. There's no video on it anywhere. There are some photographs from the show. So here we go. We can see some of these. That's the thing. It doesn't, to my mind, look a lot different to the others, and I'm not quite sure. The screen looks a little small. What are your thoughts on this, on Kurzweil doing something? Do they need to up their game?
They tend to do things that work. I mean, some people may say that, Kurzweil are manufacturing new 30-year-old keyboards. Where you could literally match up the patches number from 30 years ago. I can see the appeal of having a 61 because taking the 2700 around, it'd be nice to have a Kurzweil that you can pick up without one of your testicles suddenly popping into a sock. Because I mean, I've carried a 2700 up the stairs, and I'm not kidding you. I was a lady boy by the time I got to the landing.
Well, it's a bit like these poppers. It's a similar kind of weight to this, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, with the Kurzweils, by the time you get, you put in the effort and you've still just got a Kurzweil in the studio, whereas I got a montage, so it was worthwhile risking it for that.
Well, you say that, you've still just got a Kurzweil. The vast synthesizer engine is astonishing.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I got a K2000 in here, so...
Yeah, you've kind of got that.
And it's literally the same thing. It's just a little bit faster. It's got a bit more RAM, blah, 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 blah. But it's essentially, they are technically sort of the same kind of machine being represented. This year we're giving you ice cream, but this time it's chocolate sprinkles on it. Remember last year it was strawberry sprinkles. It's
I get the feeling
the same
with this,
keyboard.
What they're hoping to do is to be able to, by taking out some of the features, the drum pads, which an awful lot of people aren't using now because they're not using a range. Yeah, they're using them as workstations, not as instruments rather than complete MIDI and audio workstations.
Yeah.
I think they're hoping to cost reduce them so they can get to some more people. I mean, it is a good offering. It sounds amazing, but at the prices at the moment, I'm trying to think. Why would you go with that rather than something else? Andrew, have you ever been?
No, I tell you a situation where I'd buy that. If my K2000 packed up. If my K2000 packed up tomorrow, and judging by the way things have been going in here for the last week, it's extremely possible. I would go and get that one to replace her.
I know someone that's had a 2600 for years, and they replaced the keyboard twice because it does wear out, because it's wears out after a while, and eventually they decided to go and get a Kronos instead.
Okay.
And it's something which they've kind of regretted ever since. They kind of wish they'd waited and gone for the 2700. Because the Kronos is a fine sounding machine, and it's some lovely libraries for it and does all the things it does. But he said it just doesn't sound as big and organic as the 2600, as the Kurzweil stuff.
I mean, the Kurzweils made their name on that extraordinary sample set that was in them, because it was beautiful. I mean, you mentioned the K2000, Kent. I remember playing on a K2000 years back, and just thinking, this just sounds fantastic. It's beyond a sample playback machine. It is a synthesizer. But our Kurzweil now just rehashing the same old things in different clothes. They've got that big library of sounds which people love, and keep representing it. I mean, I played on the 2700 at Gearfest last year, the year before, and I thought it sounded amazing. I thought it sounded fantastic, but it wasn't something I wanted to put in here. I have no requirement for a keyboard like that.
But it's very much a player's, a kind of live players, a player's keyboard. Someone that plays a lot will get the 2700. They'll get it. They'll understand it, and it's a great thing to play live and all that. And even in the studio, it's a good thing. But you've got to want one, and you've got to be a player of a certain sort, I think.
Oh, I dare say. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a lovely 88 note keyboard here, which I turn to every now and again. Thank you, Kent. And which I do play. I have it hooked up to various things. Play it. But but that's not. I mean, you guys know that's not my musical focus really. So these great big workstation things don't actually interest me very much at all. So.
Someone nearly bought a K150. Wagyu, well done, matey. Yeah, they were wonderful things. Thing is, what is it? I mean, we were
that's
talking
a different
about
story.
Yeah, we were talking about.
You could put that into the Fairlights and Synclaviers sort of territory. That machine, it belongs in that same field. So,
I remember seeing it for the first time just after it came out and just thinking, what the bloody hell. But anyway, I was going to ask. So we were talking about. Some time back, we were talking about both Yamaha and Korg before these new things came out, saying, look, you're rehashing the same stuff over and over and over again. What are you going to do that's going to do something different? And do you need to do something different, or do you just need to present it in a different way? And they all came up with essentially new chipsets and have started putting out a raft of new products now. What do you think Kurzweil have to do to survive, to be able to compete in that market? Or are they going to be able to carry on as they are?
They might be able to carry on. They might be able to carry on as they are, because the thing is that
I'm with you, Kent, on that.
The keyboard is capable of doing anything. It's literally a one-stop shop if you're willing to put that work in. So it doesn't really need to do anything more than add extra little gadgets that may be floating around where you go, it can now receive and process poly AT, or it's got MPE built in now, or it's got this, or it's got that. You can have more sample RAM, you can have bigger drives, blah, 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 blah. But essentially, the engine is that they had from 30 odd years ago was doing everything, and it's still there today doing everything.
That's quite remarkable, isn't it? That vast engine that was in the K2000 back in 1990. When did it come out? Early 90s? It's a long time ago, 30 years ago. And they're still deploying it. And why not? I mean, Yamaha are still deploying the FM engine, so why not?
They were getting something right, because I think it's almost like no frills synthesis. It's like you just get this. It's not trying to impress anybody. It hasn't got 6,000 bloody Christmas tree lights all over it, which seems to be the thing to do today. But I mean, even now, I can run you up a list of about 10 people right now who would say, if Kurzweil re-release the MIDI board tomorrow, I don't care how much it is, I'll go and buy one.
Do you know, I'm probably in that group.
Yeah. Or release the ribbon strip again.
I wish they'd do the ribbon strip. I wish Yamaha would bring out a ribbon strip. Just anything like. Just want one. Just want one.
So clearly, what they had was that sort of meat
had
and
a ribbon
potatoes
strip on it. That new Kurzweil machine has a ribbon strip on it, doesn't it? Above
It
the
does.
keys.
Yeah. But they used to
It
do
does.
this one where it was standalone MIDI and you could plug it into anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, there you go. So again, it's the meat and potatoes of what you want without all the frills. But what it does perfectly.
It does do it perfectly, and there we go. We'll just have one more look at it, because there it is. It's got that strip all the way along the front. And
Which is why it doesn't look awe-inspiring in any particular way. It's not leaping out at you at all. You could walk past that and not notice it.
And it feels odd that now that single screen, let's just blow this up a bit if we can. Let's just try increasing the size a little. Oh, advertisement, go away. That's
It's
That's a
not
fairly
giving away what it's capable of doing, really, is it?
no, it's a very small. I mean, yeah, that's a really trimmed back. It looks like a very basic thing, but we know that it does so much. That screen is quite small, and it looks like it looks like a toy screen almost. And we're so used now to having so many more things happening on one of these stations. So
It'd be sweet if they put an HDMI on the back of it.
that would be good.
They may have done. I know very little about it, to be honest.
Let's find out. Let's go to here and see if they've put on. Well, it's still in dev. Like so much at the show, it was there and people saw it, but no one managed to get a sound of it or a video. So we don't know yet. I mean, we'll see. But honestly, does it meet today's aesthetic? Don't know. And how much is it going to be? If that came in, if the 61 note came in, what would you think would be a good price for 256 voices or whatever it's going to be?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, Kurzweil always had their own kind of pricing.
Yeah,
didn't they?
they've
They
always
didn't give
been
a crap what
expensive.
anybody else was doing. It probably. I can't help thinking probably
It's gonna be
1,200.
You think 12? I was going 17.
Yeah, I was
it
going
could
that
very
way.
possibly be that as well. Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's not about the price. You want a Kurzweil or you don't.
I mean, it's got the
True.
so it's got the ribbon controller, it's got the faders and drawbars for the organ thing, the VB organ, whatever. KB3 organ. It's got the VA engine, virtual analog engine, vast sounds and sample playback. I mean,
Is that what the faders on the panel are for?
they're for the organ.
That
Well,
organ,
you can
they've
also
got to
control.
be for other things, haven't they? But it's dedicated particularly to the organ. But you can see that from the sort of colours, the grey and the black and the light grey.
The footages.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's we'll wait and see. It's a no frills thing coming from Kurzweil, and if you can pick it up and still get those sounds,
Yeah.
maybe they found a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, like I said, if my K2000 packed up tomorrow, I'll go and grab it.
okay,
It probably won't
well,
take my original SCSI drive, but Look at the SCSI,
It
never
won't.
heard of it, lad.
So there was that, and there was. We've got all sorts of other little rumours. We're talking of. Well, actually, do you know what? Whilst we're here, we've got some time before we have a visitor. Let's take a look at. I'm just trying to find it. Din 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 din. Shall we have a look at a video? and you're going to have to keep quiet because the way I'm
Yeah.
having to. Oh, I don't know. Actually, it may not. This may just. No, it won't work. We'll still have to do it. I'm going to share this with you, so I'm going to stop sharing that and instead present the one, the only, this. So there we go. That is, by all accounts, the new, well, newish Hammond M-Solo. It is. Let us have a look at what it is. So they say it's more than just an organ. More than just an organ. It's on Gear News. I'm just going to bring
Excuse I
this.
give.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up if I can. Where's stop screen, present? Come on, this is going incredibly well. So Hammond M-Solo, the most. But there we go. Share and present. Bang. Go away. Thank you.
It's got here.
Right. So there it is. It's the Hammond M-Solo. So I'm just going to pop this over like that. It's a lovely thing, if that's what you want. And here's the thing.
And expensive too.
Well, what do you think this is going to cost?
It's 1,700 again.
Really?
Kent.
I'd hate to say.
Thing is, it's a really good sound, and I've listened to a few of the demos, and you might
Yeah,
want
the
to.
demos are great.
You might want to have a look at those.
See,
What
I'm
would
more
you-
used to pricing, 1959 B3s. I don't know.
That's a different world, isn't it, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me tell you. Let me put you out of your misery.
Go on.
It is 1,200 euros, which means it's going to be around about the same. About 1,100, something like that, 1,100 in British pounds, and it's about 1,000. It's 1,090 US dollars.
£4.50.
So yeah, but it's going to be under. It's going to be under £1,000, I reckon.
Yeah.
And-
but this is a very niche market keyboard.
It is.
And it's more niche than maybe Hammond even think, because the people that want that sound go to Tiny and say, "Can you bring us one of your B3s for the day, please?"
Yeah.
And the
But
people
here's
who don't,
actually-
yeah,
I think differently, Kent. I think that there's an awful lot of people out there who want to get their hands on that kind of machine, that kind of sound, without having to go and renting a Hammond B3. And that's precisely what Hammond are doing with this machine. I think this will be really successful. I think they'll sell, because there will be keyboard players out there who are not, in inverted commas, synthesists, who want to have a traditional keyboard setup. They'll have a piano, an organ, a synth, a string machine, that sort of thing. And I was in that myself. I was thinking, to have that traditional sort of keyboard setup, I'm quite taken. And I watched a few of the videos, and I read through the report on this, and I was thinking, actually, this has got a lot going for it. It's still a chunk of change for a 4-octave keyboard, but actually, it delivers that
classic.
Yes, exactly, Andrew. Yeah,
It's
that classic
Hammond
sound.
delivering
Yeah.
the Hammond sound, and as well as that, it's also delivering the Vox, the Farfisa, and the Acetone.
All right, cool. Yeah, as well.
And
That passed me by. I didn't pick up on that particularly.
then it's also got it's got essentially a string machine sort of sound. I have to say I've listened to it, and so far I've not been that impressed, but it is a string machine. And it's also got a kind of polyphonic synth. It's got a polyphonic synth built in, which is, it's all right. But here's the thing. This, I think, will end up all over the church market,
Yes,
the gospel
indeed.
market,
Yeah.
R&B, people that are touring that don't want to carry a real Hammond with them but want that sound. This is going to give them it, and it's going to be about $1,000.
But aren't
You know,
these
if you-
people already going around with their Nords?
Well, they are, but a lot of them are, and or with this, and or with the the Rolands and various other things. But this is a lot cheaper than a Nord, and
It
for
is.
an awful lot of bands, it gives you that Hammond sound. For the first time, instead of putting everything on top of the Hammond, this is putting the Hammond on top of everything else, right?
True. Yeah. I would have liked another octave on it though,
I was thinking the same, Kent.
But
because this is more RSO9 size, isn't it?
Yeah.
the
Which
truth of the matter
never
is,
quite enough.
with most Hammonds, because you can do all the stuff you need to. With most Hammonds, when you want, you go for a dual manual, and you can just get two of these. Getting two of these at $2,000 is still going to be less than buying something which emulates in the same way, and you've got two keyboards. You can do that. You could do that whole Hammond thing. I think this is a good thing. I do.
Okay.
I really do. It's not. It's not. Perhaps for a lot of people.
I mean, don't get me
here,
wrong. I can see there's a market for it, but I don't think it's a massive market. I mean, there's nobody. I can't see it appealing to anybody in a new way. If you see what I mean.
No, I think it's go. So you can see this band here, but we're not going to play the video just because we don't know whether or not we'll get a strike if we do. I doubt it, but it's this kind of thing. It's a drums and keyboard player and bass and guitar and vocals.
Traditional sort of bands. Excuse me. Traditional band setup. Yeah, you see, I think they'll shift a load of these.
I must confess, I'm kind of tempted.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
You've
There's
got a
sometimes.
montage there.
Yeah, I know, but
You got a
but
montage. What you playing?
this
mate? You got a
keyboard,
montage.
much as I.
You know what I mean?
I know, but I can't play it in this way, and I'd like to have that as well, because there's something about being able to do one thing, being able to have the Hammond on it, and it just sounds real.
Yeah, I
straight
get you.
away, and
I
it's
get you.
easy to play.
Yeah, no, I'm
From
with
a
you on that.
performance point of view, it makes perfect sense. It really does. It really does. But anyway, that's just me. So there we go. We've covered that. I think it's round about $1,000.
It's a good thing. A good thing, definitely.
I think so. So let's get rid of that and stop that screen. Boom. So what else have we got to talk about? Well, we've got three of those things to talk about. I'd rather not immediately, but I'll tell you what we will talk about though, because we kind of mentioned it at the top of the hour, as it were. So, issues with software and such like. You were saying about the customer service with your sound libraries.
Yes.
And it occurred to me, because I know someone else has had big issues with sound libraries, which are all licensed now online, like so much is. All of my video software, yes, I download it to here, but I have to authorize it every so often, and same with Cubase and everything else. And also, the biggest problem there is with this is, at the moment, there is very little out there that seems to be working that well with Sonoma. And
Correct.
the Mac M series is definitely the system that most musicians are picking now. And I'm being tempted as well. I've got PC, but they're it's the one they're picking. But Sonoma, are you not finding that a particularly nice ride at the moment, Kent? What's the story?
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened to start with anyway, but basically I fired up my computer yesterday and my F drive was completely blank of all sample libraries. And even when putting the disk recovery software on, said there was nothing on the disk to recover.
And was this on your PC or your Mac?
On the PC, yeah.
Okay, so
So
then
I
you've got
thought-
a Mac.
So I'm going, okay, this is time then, a good opportunity for me to actually do that big transition between the PC to the Mac Studio and put the libraries on an external drive on this puppy, except that none of the installers seem to work. Or they say that my software has already
Ouch.
been installed on the Mac, even though it's the first time I'd fired the bloody software up. So, and I've been in contact with Native Instruments, who have told me, yeah, there is a problem with Sonoma and Contact 7, for instance. Various different types of things where it's instruments will crash, or the instruments won't download properly, and they're giving out these links so people can download their libraries in ISO format and then got to unpack it and then install it themselves. That's fine. However, I said with my one, I fire up my native access and it says I have all the libraries and they're already downloaded and installed on the computer, even though I haven't started yet. And they're going, oh, well, that's something different. And we'll wait to see if there's a solution for that.
And one of the reasons I mention this is an awful lot of this kind of stuff. So we know lots of people who are doing film, TV, music, lots of people doing that kind of stuff, doing scoring and composition work, and they're all using similar kinds of setups. Some are using more plugins there. Some are, have got huge, vast collections of equipment, but they're still doing a lot of stuff with libraries, particularly around the orchestral side where you have to have that. And a lot of those people are also trying to find the perfect combination of control surface and whatever else to do this with. And some use Pro Tools. An awful lot of people jumped over to Nuendo. And guess what? Nuendo has a control surface which is just about the best and the most wonderfully integrated of anything. Bye, Brooksy. See you later, mate. Bye.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with the latest M series, silicon, the Apple silicon, it's not supporting Nuage. Or rather, Nuage isn't supporting the M series. They haven't written any drivers for it, which is
And not going to.
Yamaha thing. What? I mean, why not? Why
Because
not?
Yamaha lost money on it and they'd like to see the back of it altogether now, probably. It's a
They
very
lost
big,
money on the back
expensive...
of
Yeah, Nuage is very big and expensive, but it didn't sell that well. Because it is very, very expensive. So it actually costs some money to support the bloody thing, so they're not interested anymore. So Nuage owners are going to have another machine tucked away and hope they can keep the bloody thing going.
So that brings us back to the topic we cover more often than almost any other, which is control surfaces and what's going to work. Because if you're using any DAW and any sets of plugins, you want something that will give you some sort of feedback.
Absolutely.
Hello, Mr. Brooks. You're back again. Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? It's an odd one. You would hope. I was hoping that we'd see some lovely control surfaces, and perhaps that Korg would announce more about their polyphonic aftertouch keyboard that talks to everything, and maybe there'd be some more integrations at NAMM so that things were read in natively in NKS format, so that there at least was a standard which was common. But didn't see anything very much about that, did we?
No.
I haven't said Widdy yet. There
You
we
just
go.
did.
No,
Widdy.
no, nobody said Widdy yet.
No one said Widdy yet.
But stick around, we might do.
Alan, what's this?
What?
Hell. No, never mind. So, okay. Well, look.
What are you reading?
Well, I tell you what. I was reading one of. I was reading Dina had posted help at someone, and I don't quite understand what the. But anyway, here we go. There's one other thing which I did mention at the beginning. I know we've got some more to come up yet, but this is where are we? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Oh, someone's actually, despite the car crash of a show this is, someone's giving us £4.90. £4.99. Yeah, where's your wallet? Where's your wallet, Andrew?
There you go.
You've got to pay £5 and 1p now to balance that up, otherwise it's going to drive Robbie nuts.
Oh, bollocks to Robbie, he's not here.
Cheers, everyone.
That's very kind. You could just
All
put that
hail
into
Robbie.
So let's just share this. So,
He's underground now.
I mean, the thing is, we do have this new. Here we go. That's our new page. That's the new ProSynth Network Patreon page. And at the moment, you can see all of this. You can see choose your membership and 3 videos. Eh?
Oh, excellent.
That's got to be worth some. Now here's the thing: we are going to be putting a lot more on there, and I think
We are.
at £2 or whatever it is, a month. It's just a way of supporting what this show does, and of course, you can donate using the super sticker and super something else on YouTube, and please feel free to do it. If you do, I might put these lights on at the back. If someone wants to donate for me to put those lights on, because they're expensive, man.
And that
Very
is
expensive.
where the my Monty Python organ playing video will be put up.
Oh yeah, that will work. That will definitely
Complete with
work.
bum crack.
Complete with bum crack. Well, that's a good thing. Have I missed anyone else that's donated? No, that is. Well, I've got to say, let's just pop it up wherever it is. Aphex Cypher. Thank you.
Apex, it's not the electric, it's the gas.
Yeah, it's the gas.
It's the gas. The boiler's conked out. Bloody
I've
thing.
got gas.
You got a gas powered mic.
Have I got a
Yeah.
gas-powered mic? Well, what are you on about?
Well,
I've
the
no
gas
idea.
keep conking out and it's making the internet stop.
So
Oh,
anyway,
no. That was just a computer glitch. And it's,
Oh, okay. I thought the two were related.
So on the Patreon page, we're thinking of all sorts of wonderful things to bring you. We're thinking of all sorts of comps we can run, competitions, and putting up sound banks and doing live sort of sound bank creation and unboxings and all sorts of things. So if you've
I've just
got
signed
anything,
up, by the way.
thank you.
Oh,
you,
so-
you haven't got the clap, have you?
Well, unless people
actually-
applaud.
Hang on, let's see. Can we get a clap going?
Here we go.
Here we go. I'm just going to have a look.
808.
Yeah, very good. Crowd cheer. Let's try this.
Oh, that's very apt. There you go.
There we. Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh, my God.
Oh my god.
and here is a
Hello,
man
Ty.
with leprosy.
Unclean, no, unwin.
Unwin.
So, Mr. Ty Unwin.
Oh, yeah. Get out, mate.
Honestly, don't make me laugh. Honestly,
And you may be wondering why Mr. Unwin has joined us. He's got some
I'm
sort of
wondering-
lurgy.
I'm
Bless
wondering-
him.
Yeah, I'm wondering why
Bless
I'm
him.
here as well.
Bless him for coming on. And
The only
there was a
person
very
that didn't go to NAMM and got it.
yeah, he was pipped at the post.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going.
He had
to
it
that
shipped
another
in
time.
special.
Had it shipped in special. So, shall I tell people why you're here?
Oh yeah. Well, it's yeah.
Got
It's
nowhere
not
to
a
go.
biggie. It's not a biggie. God, it makes
not
it
a
sound
biggie.
like there's some kind of world announcement.
Well, there is.
Go on. Oh,
Let me
go for it.
So, here's the thing. Dom Hawkins' kit has, after some time now, young Ty has been curating it, pulling it together on behalf of the family, on behalf of Sophia and Lula May. And he's pulled together a list. It's all been serviced by Mr. Spong here. So it's in good gear, it's in good nick, great gear. And here's the thing. It's going to go out, I think, are you putting out a public list anytime soon?
It's basically going to be. It was going to be today, but there's just a few little things that just need to be changed. So it's going to be probably Monday. I'm going to say.
From
but
Monday.
basically, yeah, it's.
And are we going to pop it up onto ProSynth Network amongst
Well,
other
I've spoken.
places?
Yeah, I've spoken with Robbie, and it's. Yeah, you guys are going to put it up on the Facebook page and push it a little bit. And I've spoken to Nick, obviously at Sonic State, and he's going to do the same. So it goes to slightly different audiences. Yeah, so that's basically it. It's taken forever to get sorted, just because there was a lot of stuff, and there's still loads and loads of question marks about certain bits of it, but it's kind of got to the stage where we kind of things have to move essentially, and there gets to a point where there's just a limit to what you can do. I think, I've said this to you, Andrew, and to Ken, really. Anyone else that's got a big collection of stuff or a studio or whatever, yeah, keep a list of everything, and maybe some, because it's like the idea of doing this again, it's I have to say it's been a
one
bit
heck
of
a list.
yeah, and it's been a bit of an undertaking, more so than I anticipated, to be honest with you, and that's why it's taken so long. Because can you believe that it's this week, the 6th, it's going to be that's 12 months. It's the anniversary of Dom passing. So it's taken a big chunk of time, and but yeah, if you have got a big list of games, it's made me think twice. Yeah, just keep a list, and just to try and make things simpler for those that you leave behind, basically.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
But yeah, the main thing to stress here is the fact that this gear is it was all Dom's, and most of it's in. I'll be totally honest with you in terms of the condition of things. Most of it's in great nick, some of it less so. But anyone that wants to inquire, this is the main point, because it's just got to the stage where there's just so much I can't keep on top of everything, because initially it was going to be, I was going to do as much as I could. But so Dom had an assistant that he spoke about on his show about Auntie Margaret. Do you remember Auntie Margaret? Auntie Margaret was real, and who was basically Dom's assistant. And Margaret is still working for the family and with the family, and so she's basically going to be the first port of call. So the contact details that will go out with the list are essentially for Margaret, and anyone that's interested in anything that's on the list, go to Margaret. Margaret will answer any questions, and any questions that then can't be answered by Margaret, that's kind of tech specific, then
just tech specific. Yeah, she'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, she'll get in touch with me.
Can I make an observation?
Go for it.
So here's the thing: everything has been curated, been looked at, been serviced, been loved, and been. Go on.
I just want to flag this up. Most of the stuff as being almost everything has been checked by me that it's in good condition and is fully working. There's some stuff that's basically almost impossible to check, and anything that I found that has got any faults has gone to Kent, and it's basically, so it has been looked at. Most of it's been looked after. Some of it absolutely hasn't. But that's, I'm totally honest and frank about that, and Dom would be the same. It's a case of anyone that has an interest in something, we can safely presume it works and that it's all good. But there are some things, do you remember, he used to buy some random things. And... there's a kind of a reverb, a spring reverb unit that honestly looks like it's been made in someone's garage. There's a dub delay that is complete. It's literally just 3 bits of metal, but it's a proper authentic dub delay. And to someone, this is going to mean something. I'll be honest with you. To me, it's just 3 bits of metal that I know is a dub delay. And so with that kind of stuff, it's really difficult to test because all the connections were really strange. All I want people to know is that everything is being sold from a point of honesty and a point of trying to do the best for Lula and Sophia. And if there's anything at all that gets sold and is in any way incomplete or faulty or whatever, this isn't being sold for people to make money, if that makes sense. This is all being sold because every penny of this is just going to Sophia and Lula so that they can move forward with their lives and move on, and because they need to get rid of the entire studio. All I'm trying to say is I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that absolutely every single thing, there's going to be no problems with anything, but there's so much stuff that I was down there, I don't know how many times, spending days down there trying to test everything. And I tested as much as I physically could. And everything that I couldn't has gone to Kent. And so all I'm saying is, if there are any issues or any problems or any questions or anything between myself and Margaret, we will get it sorted. But the main thing is the money is just going to Sophia and Lula May to help them move on. So all I'm saying is the prices are as fair as they were always. All the prices were cross-referenced from three sites. They were fair prices. They're not going for top dollar, but at the same time things are negotiable within reason. But all I'm going to say is please just be aware that this isn't someone just trying to flog some gear to make, to buy some more gear. This is.
Let me interrupt you there a moment, Ty, because it's something which I think is important to say here, which is all the prices have been garnered by going out and researching really carefully what's out there in the marketplace and coming up with a price. Now, you may find something that's a little cheaper. You may do 20 quid, 30, who knows? Don't go there, and I'll tell you why. Dom was a force of nature. And he did so much for so many people. He opened his arms to the world, and he did so much good. He helped people out in so many ways. He was never frightened to say, "I'll do." You're having a problem, I'll be there, and he would. Right? He gave of himself so much. Did Dom, and now he's gone. God rest his soul. Sophia and Lula May need this stuff. A, gone, and B, guess what? This is part of their future. They need this they need to move forward, and this is for them. So, from my point of view, if there's a price on it, pay it. Don't dick around haggling. It's a fair price. I just think.
No. I agree. I agree. The only thing I absolutely agree. And also there is that to kind of bear in mind that just about Dom. Because I'm sure there's some people here that are going, kind of that have only kind of tuned into PSN recently, and they're going, Dom who? But Dom, as you said, gave so much time and money to not just to everybody, not just the charities that he was involved in, of which we all know that he gave huge amounts of money from a charity point of view, but also what I found over the last 12 months sorting all this stuff out is how many pieces of gear he lent to people who would, that were less fortunate than him, finding all these bits of gear that were just like, oh yeah, well, Dom lent me this and Dom lent that, and Dom was always the first that if someone really needed something, then Dom would go, okay, well look, I've got one set here, you just have it, and so that was Dom. And all I'm saying is I understand that times really are hard. And they are really hard for lots of people. Yeah, they are. And money is obviously precious for everyone at the moment. But arguing over small amounts of money on in this case, on this occasion, I would honestly just turn around and go, honestly, indirectly, Dom has paid that money 100 times over. Yeah, sorry, Brooksy, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because you sent me through the PDF with all of the prices on, and of the things that I know in that list, and could say, yeah, I understand what this is. I know what that price is. There was absolutely nothing that stood out as being unfair or overpriced or in any way. It was all absolutely bang on. So you did a great job with that, Ty. I had looked down this list. Yeah, I did a bit across. You could say, oh, you can get that 10 quid cheaper, you can get that 50, but who cares? You know, actually, in that sense, who cares? If you want a bit of Dom's legacy,
And what a
just
legacy
go
it
and bid.
is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but
Wow, what a lot of stuff.
bid,
Oh
bid,
heck! So
bid,
yeah,
and be more Dom. Be more Dom. Really,
Yeah.
be more Dom.
yeah.
Be more
I also,
Exactly.
can
It was
I also
absolutely
just
fair.
thank you. I appreciate that, because honestly, there was a lot of, you know, kind of, it was a conscious decision between me and Sophia, really, that, because there's so, you know, kind of most people haven't seen the list yet. There's some people in the chat saying they haven't seen the list yet. The list will be there, and I'm going to be honest about the way it was done. The way it was done is that Dom had some very close people in his life, some very close friends, and various people via Sonic State and people via PSN and through his show. And Sophia wanted it just to give them essentially first dibs, which I think is perfectly fair,
right.
because she knew Dom and knew that Dom would, in an ideal world, everybody that was close within the little circle of Dom's friends, every bit of that gear would go to just Dom's friends. That's what Sophia would have loved. The reality of the situation, obviously, is that was never going to happen in a million years. But she wanted those people to get first dibs on anything that was very important to them because of Dom. So all we've said is that the last few days, the list has gone out to some people that are very close to Dom, and then they've got, you know, kind of some picks. But it's not a case of they've taken the cream of the crop. That's not the case at all. It's just there have been certain bits that they've wanted. There's still loads of amazing gear on there, some really lovely gear on there. And a few of the bits of gear, I have to be honest with you, when you're going through the pricing, when I was doing it all, you could have gone, you know what it's like when you get pieces of the gear where the range is literally, it's like, you know, there's a range of like 2,000 quid, and some of the higher end gear, there's a big range of gear. And I basically, Sophia and I decided, no, we're not going to basically take the P, essentially. And so wherever that's been the case, it's come in at the lowest, the lowest, or just above the lowest of all the prices that we could find on stuff. So it's, you know, all that Sophia is trying to do is essentially to be fair. That's all. The other thing to say, if people are asking in the chat about Lula May, has she taken about Sophia, have they taken bits? Yeah, there's a few bits and bobs that they have taken that is there for Lula May and for future, you know, for Lula May in the future, and things that are important to Dom. They've kept a few bits of choice gear, so that's been sorted. We don't have to worry about leaving stuff to there. One of them was his Electron is written to because that was going to go, and I basically did the full checks on it and was going through it and started it, and it started playing his set from the Sonic State EMOM. And
oh right, yeah,
and I think the first thing was, you know, the one with that's no bass drum and this is a bass drum, all of that. It started that entire. What it made me realise was actually that Dom, you were just being a complete con, and it was all actually just done in the rhythm, and you know, kind of all you did was press play. That's the truth of the matter. That's the first thing that came through to my head. To be fair, there was lots of other stuff going on, but at that section, it was all just rhythm. He literally did just press play, twisted some knobs. The knobs weren't doing anything. And anyway, so it started that. It started that. And I just turned around, because that was going on the list, and I turned around to Sophia and Lulu Man and just said, whoa, hang on a minute. No. You've got to keep this. This has got to stay. So they've kept that. You know, and there's a few bits, his first polysynth was a JX3P that was pointed out to me really kindly by, I think was it Stevie Sim? I think Stevie pointed that out to me. And so those bits are staying. So they're sorted from that point of view. In terms of stuff that's a kind of legacy in terms of earning money, I have to be honest with you, in terms of, we all know that there are, within studio gear, there's not many pieces of gear that you know are just going to earn, you know, are just going to go up and up in money, in value. And we've kept a couple of bits for them, but the reality is most of it was just good, kind of solid stuff that isn't really going to be going up, apart from a couple of rack units that possibly.
But it was owned by Dom.
That's the whole point. This was all Dom's
owned by
gear.
Dom.
It was all used in anger, and it's all had his grubby fat fingers all over it. And and
Can I ask you a question, Ty?
yeah.
So you were saying that Dom, when he did his first thing, it was just playback. He was twisting knobs. There was nothing really happening.
I'm being facetious.
So no. But can I just ask you a question? Is it true that all of your compositions are MIDI chord packs? And having
All of
said
them.
that, I thought so. So
Yeah.
look, here's the thing. This has been going on in your life for the last year. So since Dom passed, you've been working with Sophia on this for the last year. This hasn't been so. A lot of people, it's kind of, well, it's a year. Time's passed. You've been intimately involved in this. Can I just say, from everyone that knew Dom, everyone, and we know there were a lot. I did a video for people before he disappeared off. Thank you.
I know.
Absolutely.
Look,
but no,
I
just take it, because I know why and we all do these things. But thank you, mate. Thank you. You did a really good job.
Okay,
by
I'll
him.
tell you very simply why I did it. Because the first time, it's when I really
You're on
got.
10% commission, aren't you?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's the truth of the matter. I wish I was. No, I'll tell you very simply what it was, is the fact that, anyone that knows that actually physically, although I spoke a lot to Dom, actually physically meeting him, I never actually physically met him. And I never physically met Sophia and Lula May until after Dom had passed. And there was just something very when I met Sophia and Lula May for the first time, and also Dom's mom, who was absolutely adorable, and when I met the family, there was something very strange, and they said it. They were saying it, that there were lots of ways, not just the fact that we were both fat and bald, that Dom and I, there were similarities that were genuinely a bit scary. Genuinely a bit scary, and so the family very much kind of, we just really took to one another. I think the ironic thing about this, I've never even said this to Sophia, is the fact that when I was actually on the show, I always used to think, oh, do you know what? I really think I just annoy Sophia. I really did genuinely just think, I think I just piss her off. I really just think, I've never told her this. I really just think, oh, Sophia, I just annoy her. Hopefully I didn't, but I thought I did. Anyway, so I've kind of invested in it for the simple reason that we both kind of agreed very early on after Dom had died, that Dom was the person that if it was the other way round, and if he'd
have been with you,
if I'd been the unfortunate one that had that shite illness and had died so suddenly, and it was the other way round, it would 100% have been Dom that would have been here today doing this, talking about me. And we all agreed that that's exactly how it would have been. And
whilst we're doing the thanks, by the way, Ken, thank you, mate, for doing the bits that needed to be done.
Oh, no,
you did
it's
it.
no problem.
I know it's no problem, but thank you. Just take it. I know we're British, but just take it. Just say thank you very much. Thank you from everyone.
Do you know
it's
what?
A good thing.
If you want a measure of the man, well, Ty was talking, I was just thinking about it. I had a bit of a thick stroke turn a while back, and I think Dom got to hear about it through the grapevine, whether it was through Ty or Richard Hilton or whoever. And I remember him phoning me up and asking me how I was, and he said, "Can I do anything for you? Do you need anything?" I'm saying, "No." I said, "I'm cool." The guy's doing this while he's dying from pancreatic cancer. Do you know what I mean? That's who you are buying equipment from. That's the guy. It's more than just equipment. It's almost like
it's love, is
just
what
a
it is.
a little bit of that guy that you can own for yourself. God, it sounds like one of those adverts at the back of those magazines.
It does, doesn't it?
But
Listen, we're going to take the piss out of
technically-
each other horribly. We're going to do that shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But this is a great community, and everyone that's in the chat, I know we sometimes disagree, and we sometimes, some shows are better than others, aren't they? This probably isn't one of them, but you're an amazing group of people, and I'm so glad to be here doing this every week. I'm sure you'll be able to lever me out at some point, but listen, you're a wonderful bunch of people. Start
Corporate move.
Start buying it. Yeah, start buying this stuff. Start buying it. Really.
Well, I'm going to bugger off honestly because I'm struggling to actually kind of stay upright without coughing my guts up and whatever at the moment. But I'm going to
just go away.
I am going to go away. Don't worry, I'm going to go away.
Just go away.
But
Ty, can you email me your MIDI chord packs? I've got to do a film score tomorrow.
Everyone.
If you could, please.
I found them on Facebook. I found them on Facebook as well, obviously.
We're not going to pay for them. I mean,
But no, so all I'm going to say is the list will. I'll get Robbie to stick it up on Monday, and it will hopefully go up Sonic State at the same kind of time. All the details for Margaret will be on there. But any questions, just either come directly to me on Facebook, on PSN or whatever, or Robbie, or via Robbie will contact me. All I'm saying is any full-on questions that isn't basically can I have 50 quid off, if it's any kind of technical question or any kind of questions like that, I'll happily answer whatever I possibly can. But meanwhile, if you can buy it just for Dom, and I'll bugger off and shut up and go and cough my guts up.
Yeah, can you just bugger off, shut up, and listen?
Okay.
We've got to get onto some stuff now. That had I put it on beforehand, you would still be ranting about it now, and make yourself even more ill. So bugger off. Let us get on. This is
not Behringer, is it Behringer?
No.
Okay,
no, there's not four Behringer products we have to talk about now. There's not.
Okay, good. In which case, I'm definitely going. Okay, love you all, and see you soon.
Care,
all be good. Be good. Cheers.
Right,
Take care,
darling.
gorgeous chops. Bye.
See you later, Fruitbat.
What an awful man.
What a wanker. I can't do it.
No,
I can't
don't
do it.
say that. That's awful because he's done an amazing thing.
Yeah.
An amazing
he
thing.
has.
It's the amount of work that must have gone into that.
Oh, Christ.
And
It
bless
takes
him.
the drive. He was down to days at a time.
Yeah.
Days at a time.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's so much stuff.
Well, the list is massive.
So
For those
just
of you that
waiting.
are interested, the list is massive, and it's broken down into sensible things like keyboards and Eurorack modules and effects processors and studio gear and mixers, and it's really well done, and it is all absolutely fair prices. As Ty said, it really is fair. You couldn't say, that's too expensive. You might go, well, I might get 15 quid cheaper somewhere else, but come on.
Well, let's talking of 15 quid cheaper. Shall we have a look at some stuff that I know you can't wait to see?
Oh,
Andrew?
we're
Because this is a synth show. You're going to love
is.
this, and especially as Ty has just been talking about something not a million miles away from. Let me get rid of that. Go away. Not a million miles away from this. So I'm just going to pop this up so we can talk about it. There it is.
A beautiful thing. Yeah.
That is the new Behringer. I think it's the 656, isn't it? It's emulating
636.
636. There we go, 636. Whatever it is, it's a spring reverb.
Yep.
It's a spring reverb with a gain section, so an analog gain section, so you can start driving things and doing all that kind of stuff. It's an amazing piece of kit in terms of its history, and it's the kind of stuff. I think we even have a video somewhere that I believe we can play. Shall we give it a go? Let me have a look.
Give it a push.
Let's give it a go. So I'm just going to go right back to the beginning, and you can't see that, or can you? No, you can't. Let me go to YouTube. Oh, come on, work.
No, Brooks has gone off in disgust.
Quite right. This doesn't seem to be changing. Let me just get rid of that and try it again.
hello.
Add to stage. It's not doing... This is just playing around for some reason. Oh, I know why. Let's just do this. Stop it. Represent. And there we go. So I'll just play what I hope is the video whilst Mr. Brooks does his thing. Add to stage. Here we go. And let's run it.
We all love a good digital reverb, and from plugins to hardware, there are thousands of options. But for those nostalgic moods of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there's just no beating the organic sound of a fully analog reverb. Introducing Spring Reverberation 636.
I think that's probably enough of that. So,
What's the world coming
yes.
to when the reverb unit is 4 times bigger than the synth you're playing into it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing with Spring
Can I
Reverb.
just
Now,
say, though, hang on a minute.
Go.
Richard Kirk of Cabaret Voltaire, his 303 had a MIDI interface which was twice the size behind it. And that, I'm just going to say, chuck that out there. I think this sounds fun. If those videos, okay, they've all been nicely produced, but that Spring Reverb, it just sounded phenomenal. It sounded really, really good. It's based on the old Grampian Spring Reverb, which was a classic in sort of dub, you know, Lee Scratch Perry and all those people. But the thing is that big to accommodate the length of the springs, and the length of the springs is important. So if you've only got a little spring, it won't be anything like as dense as if you've got a longer spring. So that's why it is that size. You know, they say it's Eurorack mountable. I mean, are you really going to put something that big in your Eurorack? A lot of Eurorack spring reverbs, the springs are mounted outside of the actual case.
Yeah, they are.
So because of that reason, the length of the spring is important. So that size with springs which are probably you know what 12 inches or something like that is going to give you a really nice sound. I think why the heck not? Yes, it's based on something from the past, like Behringer always do. But heck, that did sound good in that demo.
And it's the kind of unit, I remember this in Lee Scratch Perry's studio. It was, he had one and he would just dial it in. Exactly this, not, is it the Harrison? Not the Harrison, what was the original model, Andy?
The 636 Grampian.
Grampian, that's right. That's what he had. And he'd just feed in, dial the snare in, and he had the dub delay. As Ty was talking about,
that twang.
you get that twang, and if you look at this closely, you'll see there's reverberation. So you've got there's 3 controls: reverberation, and it seems to work best at around about 2 or 3 at most. And then there's an aux channel, and you bring the audio in through the aux channel, and you can drive it using this. And actually, it does do something rather lovely to signals coming in, especially at the bottom end. It just kind of squamps it up and you get the overload button. And then, of course, you've got a mic input as well. So there's lots of different ways of, there's 2 ways into it. And there's 3 knobs, and it's in and out, and it's mono, and it actually sounds really good for that kind of thing. And also, I think we've said again many times here that sometimes having limiting yourself somewhere
It's
actually
so
makes you more
basic.
creative. and it is a really classic sound.
Yeah,
So
it's so basic. You know, it won't be for everybody a box like this, but if you want that sound, where else do you go? You got to pick up a Eurorack Spring Reverb. You could. Yeah, they are there, and they're not expensive. Behringer do one, IntelliGel do them. You know, there's a whole bunch of Eurorack Spring Reverbs out there, but you need to put the spring tank outside of your system, which is a bit of a ball ache, really. So
I remember we
like
had
this,
one of my early studios. We had a great British spring.
yeah.
You know, great British spring, and then we also had a great big wooden box spring thing that someone had built. It was about 4 feet high and was just full of springs.
Yeah.
And yeah. Thank you so much, Steve. Quite right. What a bell end. And
Got 3 of them.
and
the
one
sound of that.
and at some point a rat had gotten in. It was in Chelsea. A rat had chewed into the side of this box, got in, and we were in the middle of a recording, and suddenly this rat decided to launch itself into the springs, and we go.
Hey,
And it
brilliant.
happened at exactly the right thing. We caught it on tape, and it made it onto the vinyl. That's a good thing.
Wicked.
Ken, what about you? Do you like this kind of thing at all?
Well, counterpoint, and it's got nothing to do with it being done by Behringer even. It's just that I hate the sound of spring reverbs. It sounds like a 4-year-old running around a house with a biscuit tin with 3 marbles in it, rattling it all fecking day. I've never liked the sound of spring reverbs. I will never like the sound of spring reverbs. Good luck to you if you do, but I prefer to put my CS80 through a 244 or a 480 XL reverb
why
where
wouldn't
it has quality and depth. Thank you. Moving on.
Yes, but here's the thing. You always go for polish. You always go for the luscious reverb, for the fattest synth. Sometimes there is something about having that skanky. And it's
It
not a
sounds like
smooth
somebody
tail.
raping Zebedee. I don't like it. It's a
Heard it
stupid.
here on Pro
Behave.
Synth.
Admittedly, all right. The sound is classic. I get that, but that's because nobody had bothered to invent the digital reverb in the 50s. Because if they had, they would have been using that. Okay.
Well, they had plates. So there were plates. Plates were very big,
Plate
expensive
Plate
things as well.
reverb.
EMT
Plate reverbs,
plates.
lovely. Yes, yeah. But you try putting a CS80 through a spring reverb, and you'll
But a s-
realise how you've been wasting your life,
Well,
essentially.
I may just find out. But anyway.
But that's just me.
Anyways. So that's just you.
Yeah.
You freaking
Spring
sod.
reverbs die.
Well, they've brought it out. So how much do you think they're putting this out for? You know the kinds of things they
170
do?
quid.
No.
£4.50. It seems to be the watch. That seems to be the watch price.
Almost. You're getting colder. It's £179
Oh, that's about right.
of your English pounds.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a good
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly
It's not a bad
decent.
price at all.
Yeah.
And if you're
Or
gonna
you
do
could
anything
get
like
yourself a biscuit tin and 3 marbles.
And we've got 3 other Behringer things, which are. I'm just going to really gloss over them because,
Go for it.
Guess what? They're all things which are sort of in development, and they say are coming anytime soon. Probably
will.
the most notable of which is. Let me just bring this up now. Probably the most notable of which is this little beastie, which is. Ba-doing.
Oh, was that the notable one? That's the one I skipped over. Sorry. Why would you?
The CR78, essentially.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
This is late to the party, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit, and especially as there are now software plugins that are, going to be...
Or Cyclone, if you want to.
However,
This looks like
I
a clone
always-
of the Cyclone. Believe it or not.
I always liked the sound of the CR78. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and
love it.
I've sampled it and resampled it so many times. I've got so many loops of CR78, which I then chop up and move around, and you're doing the recycle thing with it. It's got a sound to it.
It's OMD, isn't it?
Oh, God.
It's
New
Phil
music.
Collins,
Everybody, Phil
yeah.
Collins,
Mad World, isn't it? Old
Ultravox.
Ultravox, yeah.
all over Ultravox, yeah. I
Although you
should
could
love
get
it for that
technical and start
reason.
going, oh, I believe it was a CR78 actually, but it's the same engine.
What, a V12?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
So yeah, they've bought this out. There is no absolutely no clue about when it will actually be hitting the streets. There's no
If ever.
details about cost. I mean, it's exact same circuitry, they say, going into the design, including the original coils and LC filters. LC filters.
Hopefully it hasn't got the original RAM. or the original battery leak.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool.
Cronin new member, my goodness. So, yeah, it's they've launched that, but there's no date or time. I mean, it looks from the back. Got to say, it looks pretty well accounted for. There's individual outputs for everything, which is kind of cool. That's nice. Which means, you know, from a modular point of view, you could start processing it through a modular rack or doing whatever, or swingling things MIDI in, MIDI out, USB. You know, there's a lot here to like, really. But we don't know when it's due or the price. And talking of such things, let's see if we can find. Let's stop presenting that. And we'll get these out the way as quickly as possible. So the next one they have coming out is, oh my goodness, yeah. Let's go here next. So, ba-boom. What do we think of this?
Why not?
What is that?
It's the
a
same keyboard as
CZ.
all the others. Yeah, CZ. CZ1.
Oh, okay.
I actually like the CZ synth engine. I
Yeah,
loved it.
me too.
I loved the sound of it.
Why not? If you've got a machine that can produce it, why not? Those CZ machines are long in the past. So a CZ101, you know, what will this be? 4-note polyphonic? I mean, the CZ101 was, if you had two oscillators or two sound waveform generators, whatever they called it on those machines, it was if you had two going, it was 4-note polyphonic.
Yeah.
So I assume that this will be as well, because it's going to be entirely digital.
Well, it might be 4-note, and if you go to the two oscillators, then essentially two sound for, then it might be dual note, but who knows? They're doing some weird things with some of these.
Yeah.
But, you know, here's the funny thing with this. So it's Behringer, and we know there's been a lot of, you know, bad feeling or bad blood around it, particularly in this group from some of us even. But if you look at their Facebook page, it's just love all the way. There are a huge number of people
There's
that
going to
love
be
what
loads
they're
of
doing.
people that love this.
I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So
There'll be a
it's
lot of
kind
people of the 80s
deleted my post.
generation who will go, oh, I love my CZ101. It was my first synth.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people here who had a CZ101 as the first synth.
Did you? So it sounds
not?
like you had one, Andy, for a while.
No, I didn't. No, I never did. I never owned one. And yeah, I always liked it and never quite pulled the trigger because I always liked the sound of analog synths more. But I mean, at the time of the DX7 and all of that stuff, I always. Well, I shouldn't say this on this channel, should I? I hated the DX7. I hated it. I hated the sound. I'm learning to love it because my musical partner Grace has a DX7, and I've really, to be fair, I've enjoyed it a lot. But the CZ had something else, and it sounded very different. It was very edgy, and it was a bit fatter, a bit more. You could change a parameter quickly, and it would become really quite caustic. I liked it, and yeah, I never ever owned one. So I'm really quite quite
And Vince
taken by
Clark
this.
had gazillions of them. He had 8
Well,
of them,
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
he, or
Well,
something?
he did whole tours with it. You know, was it the circus? Is that what it was called? Erasure, around the time of the circus.
Mm-hmm.
They were using CZ101s basically, all multi-timbral, all fired off MIDI, all powered off a whatever sequencer that they were using. But the whole of that album, the circus album, is very much CZ101. It's gas.
And
That's
that,
mad when you
again,
think about it.
Yeah.
there's no shipping date on it. There's no pricing on it, but it will come. But it's going to be around about the 9,900, 89, 9,900
Yeah,
quid.
it's not going to
dollars,
cost very
whatever.
much at all.
It's not going
It'll
to
be
cost
cheap
very
as
much.
chips. And
Yep.
if you're into that sound, you go
Yeah.
out and buy one. And if it's crap, you don't like it. Yeah, well,
And talking of which, because we do. So
Well, the
A lot of
originals
people-
are getting a lot harder to repair now, so it needs something
Yeah.
fresh out there.
So, once upon a time, if you wanted an OB-X, you had to go out and spend a lot of money on one, hope that it worked, and get Kent to service it. And then, of course, Tom bought out the OB-8X, was it?
Yeah.
OB-8?
OB-X,
yeah,
OB-X. Yeah.
well,
which
there
was
the
$3.5 grand.
OB6 from Sequential, and then the OB-X8.
OB-X8,
which was
a
Tom
wonderful
via-
thing.
via-
3,500 sounds amazing.
It
Sounds
does
amazing.
sound amazing.
But then, and 8 voices sounded amazing. But then, if you couldn't afford that, you just had to wait for a year or so. And Behringer bought out their version at
Absolutely.
around about 800-900 quid or something, wasn't it, for 16 voices?
Scary.
And it's been tested a lot. We've seen some comparisons done by Manny and others here where, actually it's a pretty good sounding thing. But if 800 quid is too much,
Wow.
$99 and apparently 3 voices.
Wow. Is that three, like the Korg Volca? The Volca keys, where it's 3 voices into one filter. I couldn't work that out from the information that was on there.
Yeah, I can't either, but
I suspect that's what it is. It'll be 3 oscillators into one filter.
if you don't need the polyphonic aftertouch or any of that stuff and you just want that fat sort of Oberheim bass sound or lead sound or something, 99 quid, it's yours. Gotta say, they're killing this at the moment.
I've got a word to say about this. Do you remember the VS that they
Yes.
and they put it out as a Eurorack module called the Victor? I think this is absolutely prime for sticking out as a Eurorack voice module, where you've got oscillator, filter, amplifier, and LFO. If they can do that, they'll shed loads of those. I mean, the Victor itself, that module is a bit of a no-brainer. But if they put one of these out as a Eurorack module, I'm thinking, oh yes, oh yeah, definitely. We'll wait and see. Watch this space. See what they do.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't look bad, does it? All things considered.
It's actually quite a nice looking little
USB
box.
in and out, headphones, sync in and out, and MIDI. 99 quid. Or $99, which will be around about 89 quid or something. That's not bad. So, yeah, Behringer are doing some... they're getting their mojo, and they're doing a whole bunch of stuff now that suddenly...
It's interesting stuff they're doing. Okay, it's taking things which are essentially in the past, bringing them up to date, giving them to people for not a lot of money. People, there'll be naysayers, but I go, yeah, bring it on, get on with it, do it.
And unlike ourselves, you mean? Can't bring us up to date.
I'm not a Behringer hater. I've got a lot of Behringer stuff in here.
I just meant
Some-
old shit that you can't bring up to date.
I'll be honest with you, I
sorry.
would have preferred this to be like 80 quid more and have 3 filters
Yeah.
and 3 envelope
I can go
generators.
with that, Kent. Yeah, that makes sense. And perhaps in a slightly bigger format as well, something like the size of the Micro Freak.
Yeah, there's
That
small
they'd
and then there's, oh,
nail
for
it
Christ's
if they'd
sake, where
done
did
that.
I leave it?
But if you treated it as a single mono Oberheim voice, monophonic,
An OB1. Yeah.
but you know, with 3 oscillators essentially, or however many it is, you know, that starts becoming quite compelling. So look, we're getting close to time. There's a couple more items I did want to cover quickly, so let's get on to those. Again, this was shown at the NAMM show. I don't have a lot of skin in this game, as it were, but I thought we should take a quick look at this because it is an interesting thing. So
The cat mat.
yeah, the M-Ray, the cat mat, the
cat
M-Ray,
mat, yeah.
Erae 2. It's, again, we don't have any videos for this. I mean, we could play videos, but we'll get a strike. But essentially, they've updated it. They've got a new surface on it, which, as Andrew and Kent have said, is material. So it means that you can interact in a much more tactile way. You get a much greater degree of control and articulation. It's very, very responsive.
It's resistance.
MPE. Yeah. It's an astonishing thing, and if you want to hit it harder, then you can swap that mat out for a silicon pad on the top, and you can bash it with drums. I mean, you can do what you like. Yeah. But it is an interesting thing. I mean, this is they showed this off at the show, and as you can see, it's got CV connectivity. I think it's got 12 CV outs, which starts getting really interesting. Bunch of hardware controls. A lot more functionality. It's got a looper built in as well now. And each control circuit, because you can change the mapping that you're seeing on the front here. Where are we? Here we go. So you can change this mapping to give different layouts, different ways of displaying the stuff and for interacting. These 2 keyboards can be just going to 1 synth or 2 different synths or 2 different sounds or whatever. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with it. And there's lots of other layouts as well. And each layout you can loop with, so you can keep adding loops with each layout that's there. So it's an interesting thing. It's got a big knob as well. That's for Steve in Australia. And the fact is, you can work with this without having to have a computer connected, which is a lovely thing. Yeah. You know, like with so many of these things, you need to connect things to a whatever. This is good, and I think whoever's written this, I don't know, is it Robbie? Let's have a look. Was it Robbie? Oh, it was Robin Vincent. So, yeah, I think it is. It's getting back into that sort of Buchla style interaction with a modular. If you set it up for the 12 outputs, it is a good thing. XY pads, also, you know, continuous control. Does this interest you at all, Ken?
It does, but I mean, I'm not belittling this at all, but I've got 4 dogs, and that will be completely covered in dog hair in a day. No, straight up. Straight up.
It will.
I have to dust in here every single day, but trying to get hairs out of cloth is I'd have to hoover the bloody thing, and I don't fancy doing that to that. But it literally, that would be a problem.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Unless I got one, you know, those sticky rollers? I might be able to get the dog hairs off it, you know?
The ones you use for getting hair off your suit before you go in for
Well, yeah,
whatever.
exactly, yeah. But, I mean, other than that, I think this is really, really nice. It is. It's like, you know, like I said, it's sort of like a, you know, an iPad stroke Rolly stroke, what did I forget the name of it? The Hagen Das or whatever the fucking thing was called. You know, it's a bit of everything. I like the way you can play it. Yeah, without a computer. Because on Rolly, you have to buy the Rolly Grand, you know, to be able to do Rollying without a computer nearby.
Well, talking of other things that were launched at or shown at NAMM, there is another interesting thing, which, again, I've not been able to find any video that I'm confident we can pop up here without getting a strike. So I'm just going to share this with you. And it is this, Atoms.
Oh.
So this is essentially physical modelling. It's modelling as far as I understand it. It'll probably have it here. Blah 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 blah. Essentially, it's modelling a mass, like strings that connect together in weird ways and resonate, and you can bow across them and change shapes and do all sorts of things. It's a very powerful thing, and in fact I have had a quick look at the video from the show, which is probably from Sonic State, I think. And it is a pretty astonishing and different way of interacting with an instrument, and it creates sounds that sound like a mix between I suppose a guitar, but mostly bowed. It sounds like violins and all sorts of things, and by changing, it's a very complex thing, but they've reduced it down to just 6 controls for the whole thing, which is, as you can see, if I get it right, chaos, which is a randomizing thing. It just randomizes what's happening in particular areas. Order, so the order in which things happen, certain bits, actions happen. Overtones, which is, as far as I understand it, it's about where you are bowing on this string. So imagine up closer to one of those dots, or rather more in the middle. It changes the harmonic structure of it. You've got a filter. You've got force, how strongly you're bowing, and then you've got drive, how much energy you're putting into the system. Between those 6 knobs, there is a huge amount you can do with it. And of course, down at the bottom here, you've got the eponymous attack, release, movement, all those kinds of things, modulation, etc. It's a really nice looking plugin. I think it's going to be $59, something like that. And I've got to say, it's MPE, by the way, as well.
Excellent.
I've got to say, this is the kind of thing that is so out there. As soon as it comes out, I'm getting it. Thoughts? You're not much into this kind of thing, are you? Into these kinds of plugins, Andy? Is it not something that would interest you?
I have only just started dipping my toe into this area, and it does interest me because it's something very different. So I could be tempted. I mean, I've just started getting into Ableton and using Ableton plugins and things like that. So, and other plugins. So I could be interested in it. But it's a case of wait and see for me.
Well, it's available from February the 7th, which is next
Next week, isn't
Wednesday?
it?
Yeah, next Wednesday. For an introductory price of $59. And I've got to say, I'm going to be putting my money down and getting that. It's a really interesting thing. And I just want to see how it sits, how it works, and new bunch of sounds. So that's another one. And then there's one last thing which I haven't yet covered, and I'm going to. Yeah, this. So there's been a lot of excitement recently from people losing their shit over an amazing thing that Apple have been doing, which is Vision Pro, their headset with AR. I have to say it's looking much better than I thought it would. It's working pretty well. And guess who's bought out a little plug-in for it? Yep, Moog.
Yeah.
A virtual synth. And I think it's based on the Moog, the Moog that's already on the on tablet, on the iPad. But these are shots. Let me try and just expand those a little bit. There we go. Maybe do that. There we go. So that's the kind of thing. That's what it looks like in someone's house, as it were. So if we do this, let's have a look. Bang. There. So that's kind of what you'd see. And you can interact with it with your hands, with your fingers, with pinching things together, and you're doing all the normal movements you do with these things. But it's a nice thing, and it's in VR. And at $3,500 for the headset, I wonder how many people will get this and interact with it. But it's, it's someone else. Korg did something earlier this year, or last year, didn't they, with a virtual environment thing. Moog are now doing the same thing, and they're saying that this is a new direction for them. They are specifically utilizing a new anisotropic synth engine, which is a Moog technology. That's what they're saying. I mean, it's the kind of thing I think I've seen around a while before, but if they're doing something new and different, great. We've been waiting to see what they might do next. So, does this interest either of you? Are you spending any money? Are you spending
No.
$3,500 on a virtual headset, Robbie?
Robbie? No,
You have to
I'm
shout
not.
loud on
Robbie?
that, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Robbie.
Pseudo Robbie says, it's from Moog, it'll probably sound great, but I don't give a shit. Sorry.
That good.
If it ain't
Kent.
got knobs on
Well-
that I can reach out and grab, I don't want to know.
Yeah, how do you know where your hand is in this 3D space?
That's simple.
If it
When
hurts,
you're in
it's in the
when
wrong
you're in
place.
it's in AR, so you can determine how much of the room you're seeing, because it's cameras on the outside and it portrays it in your room. Apparently, it's a really good experience, and you can interact with it by touching where it is. You're doing there's lots of different actions you can carry out that cause things to happen.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Because if I'm taking a Porsche 911 round Ockenheim, I'm holding a steering wheel. I know where the steering wheel is. I know where the pedals are because I can feel my feet on them. So basically, this appears in like a transparent 3D space sort of thing.
No,
So
it appears either in complete virtual or in the room you're in. So that the Vision headset films. It's got cameras which show where you are, and it's a 1-for-1 thing. So you don't suddenly bump into things, and you can change how transparent or not how much of your real space you're in you see and not.
yeah,
And
because
then
if you
can
could
dump
see
things
your
into it.
hand,
You can.
that's what I mean. So if you can,
Yeah, yeah.
if it can do that, yeah. Because if it was in more of a total 3D environment, it would be a fucking nightmare.
but
I
you don't
play
see.
live. I go out and I play live.
I
I
like
set my
live.
stuff up on stage and I play live, and I've got an audience in front of me, and I can see the audience, and I can see their reaction. And if I've got a thing strapped over my face and I'm going, "Where's my cut-off knob?" No, I just don't get it.
Did
I'm
you just say,
sorry,
"Where's my cough knob"?
Yeah, where's my cough knob? Where's my cough knob? I'm so sorry, I don't get it.
My cough knob. You heard cough knob here first.
Yes, you
Well.
did. There are some people who will absolutely love this, and I
It worked
just
for
sit there and
Daft
I
Punk,
go,
though, didn't it?
It did. They had cough knobs.
Yeah, they'd cough off with their
They
helmets
had
on.
cough knobs. So listen, folks. You know what? We're very close to the hour. We started about
press play
30
and
seconds
go.
late. No. Because we got to just do the quick. Let's do a quick roundup. So we've come to the end of a show. We actually managed to get through a show, Kent, without completely screwing it up. I think we had one.
Wait till you watch it back.
That's
I
my
think we had
influence.
one donation. We might have had more. Has anyone checked? Let's just have a quick
There's
look.
been a few.
Have there?
Yeah, I think it was.
And there's been people subscribing to your what's it called?
To Patreon.
I did.
Patreon.
I subscribed. I
Yeah.
did it.
That's good. That's good.
Homegrown did. Well done, Steve.
Well done, Ingo. Thank you so. Well, listen. Thank you all of those who donated. Thank you so much, all of those who signed up for Patreon. Get a friend to sign up. Stop hanging about. Get someone. Get your mother to sign up.
Get your dog to sign up.
Your kids.
Yeah.
The boys in the trees. Get them all to sign up.
The boys?
It all helps. Seriously, it all helps. And then you won't have to put up with me. They can actually afford to get a proper presenter back in. Robbie will be able to afford to come in and turn his electricity on. That's what's going on tonight. That's the truth. That's the truth. So listen, we've got to the end of the show. I've got to ask you all first. So what else is happening this weekend? Robbie, do we know what shows are happening this weekend? What's happening tomorrow? And
Shout louder than that.
what?
You got to shout louder than that.
What's happening tomorrow?
Well, Robbie's up in town, isn't he? So.
Oh, right. Sorry, Kent. What am I doing? Right, oh, for fuck's sake.
You're just in love. Admit it.
I almost got to the end of the show. I only did it once before. Hi, Kent. What's happening the rest of
Hello.
the weekend, you wanker?
Me, I'm going to sit on the settee and watch rugby all weekend. There you go. Bugger them.
You're watching
Sounds like a great plan.
the Six Nations.
No, it's the it's
Five
no,
Nations.
It's the internationals, is it? No, the
The
Five
Four
Nations.
Nations. The several
and,
nations.
No, and some of the Gallagher games.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
So we're going to see
And
the.
are there any shows? Are you doing a pub tomorrow?
Very likely. I feel like screaming at somebody.
Then we'll probably see you there.
See you in the
Is
pub
Jamie
tomorrow,
doing?
Kent.
Is Jamie doing anything on Sunday? Tomorrow
Jamie's
or
on
Sunday?
Sunday.
Ramsey's on tomorrow morning, is
Ramsey's
he
on
not?
tomorrow. I may jump in on Ramsey tomorrow. He doesn't know, but I may well.
And
You
is
haven't been
Andrew-
on for a couple of weeks, have you?
Well, I was going to go in last week to talk about the SH101 and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but
No, it's Synth Addict.
but
Andy,
unfortunately
Synth
my car
Addict.
got broken into, and I spent the entire day sitting on the phone to
Oh, here we go.
insurance
Back to the
people.
misery magnet again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he goes on. It's like it's bad. I lost 6 terabyte of library, mate.
I had a great week. It was good. It was all good. So Andy, Synth Addict, is he going to be doing any? We'll see him in the shows wherever. But if he's doing something, let me know.
He's in the chat.
Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Yeah, let us know. And I think apart from that, you're doing rugby and Gallagher and Noel. You're seeing Noel Gallagher.
I am doing some other things,
Bit of
obviously,
Liam.
but
Yeah, a
yeah,
bit of a
I
Liam.
have a 1973 Mini Moog I've got to take apart.
And a glove puppet that you're going to be. No, we won't go into that.
Well, I'm teaching the
And-
glove puppet how to repair synths.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Don't mention Cox. So, what about?
Oh, looks like he's got a girlfriend.
He's interested now. Oh my goodness, the penguin of death.
Where's the grumpy bugger? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where's the penguin? Not the penguin, the giraffe of.
No.
The
Grumpy
giraffe
bugger.
of good fortune.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bollocks.
Hang on. Here we go. How about the penguin of death in your shoe, Andrew?
Ooh.
No, I won't be able to get my foot in if the penguin of doom is in there. So
And what
Yeah,
are you
that's a
doing this
beautiful
weekend,
shoe.
young sir?
Yeah, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I've got a mountain of work for work.
Oh, Ty's back.
Which I brought
Yeah.
home with me.
And now our special guest, Ty Unwin. Since somebody mentioned Behringer. Can I just say, Behringer?
Right. Well, I'm going to be working on voiceovers and all sorts of stuff, and I'm working all weekend, so I'm going to bugger off and I'm going to go off and have a little glass of something now, I think. And gentlemen, do you know what? I think that's a show. What do you think?
I think we're
Why
pretty
not?
much showed. Yeah,
Are we?
I think we're
Oh, we
pretty much
showed.
showed out. Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Thank God. Listen, thank you all for coming. Don't forget, when you see the list from Ty, which will be up all over the place,
Oh, yes, do.
buy some stuff. Go and buy it. Don't haggle, just buy it. It's
Give it a
good
good
stuff.
check out. It's all fair.
It is.
I've had a good look, and I can't see anything that I would go. Yeah, you're taking the piss. No, there's no piss taking. It's all pucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And this is from the show that brought you Mong. I'm going to say goodbye to
Mong
you now.
Light.
Mong Light. Goodbye, one and all.
See you
Goodbye,
all soon.
one and all.
Take care, buds.
Good.